message to share. We want to help so many women, particularly like queer and allied women. We want to help them transform ultimately into their most true, authentic selves, and getting out of like so much burnout and stress and overwhelm, and just reconnecting back with their natural state, which is peace and confidence and feeling good.
Yeah. That being said, if you're new here, we are the Masons. This is the Mason Movement Podcast. My name is Jessie.
And I'm B.
And we're so glad that you're here. And if you've been here before, welcome back. We're so grateful to our audience. You know, we don't have thousands of followers or subscribers, but we're choosing every day to continue to show up. And we have the vision. We're putting in the work. We're putting out actions, and slowly but surely we're getting there. And we just want to talk a little bit about the highs and the lows of entrepreneurship. It is not an easy road. And I think if it was, everybody would be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Nobody would be clocking in. Nobody would be having to answer to anybody else except themselves. And that's a really interesting thing to navigate as well when you're like coming into the entrepreneur space, is like answering to yourself, like you are in control of every aspect of your business, creating that schedule, sticking to it, while also balancing like a flow in your mental health and your physical health, and
Drinking enough water.
Having a social life, not getting totally buried in the tasks of your business, because, you know, we're wearing all of the hats, especially in the beginning when you're starting a business up. I mean, like, we're the marketing team. We are the creative designers. We are the website builders. We are the schedulers. We are like building out a yearly calendar. We're, you know, creating the visual aids. We're doing it all. And that's a huge undertaking.
Yeah. No shit.
Yeah.
And we're just being like very real. So just to kind of like pull back the curtain a little bit, we actually had an idea for today's topic. And right before we were about to record, Jessie was like, wait, like something else is coming through. Like, I just feel like this is so much more relevant, talking about, our journeys of being entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
And we're both really feeling that stress and that pressure. And even though this is a little uncomfortable, actually this is very uncomfortable for me to talk about, because it's something that I have not like fully integrated. Like, I'm still very much present in this journey. Like, I'm struggling with this day to day right now, versus when I talk about like my addiction to alcohol or abusive relationships, or, you know, lack of setting boundaries. Like, that's all in the past. I've integrated a lot of that. So like, that just feels like thousands of miles away. This is so much more fresh, so it feels like very vulnerable to discuss, but we're gonna go there.
We're gonna go there because we like to keep it real, and it's very like you said, it's very relevant to like right now. And I think it's important, you know, we really wanted to, I feel like when we tap into like, okay, what are we struggling with right now? Like, the collective is also struggling. Maybe you're not an entrepreneur, but like this is relatable to some aspect of your life.
Oh, completely. This, I feel like a lot of these, like what we're going to talk about, can totally be applied to like your love life, or even, you know, if you have a 9-to-5 and you're in corporate America, like completely, it all relates.
Right. So it's like, how are you balancing? How are you balancing your mental health, and like on the days where, because lately, I will say yesterday, it was such, oh my God, it felt like I was carrying around like an 18-wheeler truck on my back. I just felt so much resistance and was just like, I don't think I have the willpower to do this anymore. Like, I was ready to throw in the towel.
Yeah.
And you're going to experience those. I think this is like really like a character building season of our business. And, you know, I have something saved in my Instagram actually that's like about like keeping things moving even on the hardest days. You know, like social media, it's really easy to get caught up in like, oh my God, like they're so successful, but it's like you're not seeing what it took for them to get to that success. You're not seeing the sleepless nights, the tears, the anger, the frustration, the like juggling it all for them to get to that space. And yeah, I like to like go back to my little like slide of like, keep going. You're, you know, like, I think that's what makes people really great. And that's what, you know, like when you get to that crossroads of like, do I want to quit right now, or am I going to keep going and like persevering through that moment of wanting to quit, wanting to throw in the towel.
Right.
If that makes sense.
I just realized that you asked me a question and I didn't answer.
I just like went on to something
You like
I had it. It's coming. Spirit is in this car right now, and I'm just talking.
Okay, but no, that relates to like what I'm actually doing in my life right now. So I've been hearing this book from like a few different people actually just pop up. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's like a sign for me to read this. It's called the 5 a.m. Club. It's amazing. I'm in the middle of it. And the message, instantly, the first page, I feel like all the messaging was for me and with where I'm at right now. And it just keeps reiterating this theme of like, every time you feel like you're wanting to give up, like if you keep going, that's when triumph happens. And that doesn't necessarily mean like, don't rest, like hustle. Like I'm really actively getting out of that like mentality and that program. So definitely like resting when necessary. But this is talking about like the overall, like I think a lot of people, because going back to like instant gratification, if you're not seeing sort of like an immediate result, it's really easy to be like, okay, like this isn't meant for me, like I'm giving up on this, like on to the next thing, rather than seeing it through. And this book also talks about, you know, the really amazing great leaders of the world. It can take a whole lifetime to just craft one masterpiece. I mean, talk about like patience, persistence, perseverance. Yeah, like that was so beautiful. And although I don't want to believe it's going to take a whole lifetime for us to like, you know, really receive the, I don't know, benefits and rewards and success that we're wanting. I don't think it's going to take a full lifetime. Like it does take time. And I'm so used to that program of like from school, you know, I was in academia, like hardcore, you know, I got my master's degree and I wanted to go for my doctorate. Like it was intense. And so I'm very used to like, I turn this in, I get something back. I do really well on this. I know all the information. I input all of this. I receive this sort of grade. And it's like, whoa, life isn't like that, dude.
No. Well, I think we're like the generation of like instant gratification. It's like I can get online if like I want something and I click a button and it's like at my door in a day. And
love it.
Like, you know, I don't, and then you get like that dopamine hit. Like you post something and like somebody likes it or comments and it's just like, boo. But that's like, you know, what we grew up on. And I think it can be challenging to like take a step back and, like you said, like not need that instant gratification. And it's like, I'm not posting for anybody else, like, you know, like, but myself.
Like rewiring into, like it's for me too, but also I heard someone talking on Instagram about it's important that you continue to put your message out there. I don't care if you're like quote unquote being annoying, like that's also your ego and like not wanting to take up space. But like, no, you are putting your message out there every day so that you make sure all of the people that need to hear your message and experience your medicine will receive it. And I loved that reframe because that's what I feel like we're doing. It can be really hard. I feel like, you know, and Jess and I said before, we didn't want this to turn into like a bitch session, you know, so we're going to focus back on like ways that we're getting out of this, but to like, yeah, be real about what's going on. Like a lot of the times we will post on social media and the engagement is super low. And it's like, are we talking to dead space?
Yeah, and that can be really hard. But that was like a really great reframe for me because I felt like for a little bit of time until recently, basically until you told me that about showing up and like not being afraid to take up space and just like it's okay to repeat yourself, like your message is the medicine, like you're not annoying, that is like you're in your head. And that's where I would go to it, like, ooh, we can't like say this again because like we totally posted that yesterday,
right?
And just be like, actually no, this is like our space and our channel and like we can actually create and put out whatever we want to as many times as we want to, and that's okay. The right people will be attracted and magnetized to our messaging and it will resonate, and with others it won't, and that's okay too.
Right. And I feel like I've heard a lot of like people on Instagram that are, you know, have high engagement and, you know, seem to be very much in alignment with what they're offering and all of that, sort of like we're aspiring to be where they are. And a lot of people, at least the ones that have kind of pulled back the curtain, have said like in the beginning, it feels like you're doing so much work, you're putting in so much, and the payoff is like zero. And that's been really helpful for me to like remember too, because it's like, oh yeah, like this is a part of the story, this is a part of the narrative. And it's kind of cool that we're like recording this now actually in this space, in this time, because it's like a time capsule. And I'm gonna manifest within 6 months to a year, we're gonna be in like a really, really different space.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have to like come back, watch this episode, and like do another episode of like, remember when we were talking about the struggles, and like, yeah, we're on the other side of that now. And I think also us really wanting to give back to when we are at the place of, you know, the success that we want and the success that we're envisioning is like mentoring people who are like in our space, like queer women and or a couple who are wanting, you know, to start up something and they have a message to give to the world. Like I just think that's going to be so cool when we're at that point. Like that's what I'm really like working towards, is just wanting to like mentor and take them under our wings and just like help them, because figuring out how to add code into a website is just like, that's not my calling, but we're out here and we're doing it.
But we're doing it.
We're doing it. And yeah, so I guess like maybe we should talk about things that are helpful. And one thing that's immediately coming to mind is like, go for a fucking walk. A walk will help you if you're sad or depressed or you're feeling sluggish, or you just need to like meditate and walk, because the biggest epiphany happened on a walk when we were having like a day of like, where are we going wrong? Like what is happening? And like you had brought up like, you know, like our business is our baby. Like we birthed this, we created this. And then
it's a newborn baby, by the way. Our business is like what, 5-ish months old?
5 months, okay?
It's not very old.
It's not
very old.
Which
we forget often.
No, still on the teat. Not sorry. I thought it was funny. But I had the epiphany of like, oh, I've been like, it was kind of like a parallel, because like I was forced to grow up too quickly, and I feel like I was putting that pressure on our business baby of, I want you to grow up overnight, and like that's just not realistic, and that's so much pressure to put on your baby. And I was just like, wow, okay, I need to like love this baby and
Nurture her.
nurture her, give her space, give her time, and like she will grow the way she is supposed. Like there doesn't need to be force. There was so much force. Like, let me just I need to push you forward. I need you to do what I need you to do, and like I don't care if you're not ready yet.
Yeah, and that's definitely a reflection of like how we treat ourselves. And so that was really powerful to like start taking the pressure off. Like we're definitely still taking off layers. I mean, and the other thing I will say is, and I have kind of phases of like when I'm really into my breath work, and sometimes phases where I'm like, okay, maybe like more meditation or just different sort of holistic remedies. But my quantum breath has been really pivotal in just starting off my day right. Like I have a morning routine that I am refining every day, and I'm loving it more and more and more. And in that, it's typically a quantum breath session. And if you haven't done this already, go to themasonmovement.com. Check out our free resources. Just right on that page, there's a free quantum breath session for you to experience for yourself. It literally is life-changing, especially if you're doing it, every day, consistently in order to really see results. But like that structured time for myself, like you can do anything you want, in your morning routine. It doesn't have to be breath work. But that time has been really important because that's also time away from the business. Like I will get into the mindset of like, I need to be working on this 24/7. Like there was a point where we were talking about the business constantly. Like we literally did not have lives outside of the business for a couple months. And it was like, whoa, what are we doing?
Right.
Like, who am I?
Yeah, well, and then there was like a moment where we were like, oh my God, we haven't taken a day off in like 15 days.
Yeah, we don't recommend that. Don't do that.
That was overkill. We were doing way too much.
That's a fast track to get burned out.
That is. And then you're going to have to like sign up and get the free meditation that helps reduce burnout and stress, because that's exactly where we were at. We were every conversation, it was like, okay, we're not going to talk about the business today, and we'd be driving down the road to get a coffee, and then I would be like, oh wait, but what, I just had a thought, we should do this, and then we'd be like, oh my God, okay, put it in the notes.
Yeah.
Put it in the notes, jot it down, and then it would just spiral, and then we would, half the day had gone, and we were like, oh shit.
We had a full-on business meeting.
We talked about the business all day long.
Right. The other thing I think that's super helpful is to like, now that we're kind of getting into more balance, like relying on more of community and friends and family, like
support system.
Yeah, it just felt so good to be able to like talk to my mom and tell her like what's going on, talk to a friend and open up and say, this is like actually what's happening, like speaking of, we have a school membership where you can join. It's for queer and allied women, and we can do open forum and talk about, these kinds of things. And it doesn't just have to be like entrepreneurship. It can literally be about anything that you're struggling with or anything that you're celebrating truly. And we have some really powerful women that will show up for you and rally for you, and leaning on them, being a leader in that group and being able to be open and vulnerable and leading on them. I just feel like that really sets the precedent and the tone. So really cool group. Go check that out. First 7 days are on us.
Yes, absolutely. Because I'm also just kind of thinking, we're in a business partnership together. So usually on the days that I'm just like falling to pieces and I'm just like, oh, I can't go on, she's like, okay, here's some words of encouragement. We got this. What do you need? How can I support you? We can actually just call this a wash day if you need, and then vice versa. But if you're an entrepreneur or it's not applicable to your life, it's so important to have that community, that sense of community, and like a queer community and like a women's community. There's so much knowledge and wisdom within our community with the women that are in there, and it's a powerful place to be. We've already seen so much like magic happen And just being able to witness it has been really cool.
That's for sure. I just feel like we talked about a lot, and a lot of it, I feel like we have made a lot of progress though, which I am like very proud of us for just in the last couple of months. Like I mentioned, like peeling off the layers of like pressure and really just anchoring into like unconditional love and like support for like one another, ourselves, our business, and just like remembering that like success looks so different for so many people. And like I went through this little program to like rewire my relationship with money and success, and it's like all tied. And I realized that my image, like actually this might be like a fun experiential thing. So if you're listening and you can close your eyes and imagine, like when I say success, the word success, like what do you think of? Like what image comes to your mind? And when I did this, I had this image of like a white young man, a Mark Zuckerberg, if you will, like being in Silicon Valley and like working like endless nights and days and just like living for his work and making oodles and oodles of money. And I'm like, wait, that doesn't like fit for me at all. I'm not a white man. I did not invent, some tech. I'm not even interested in anything like that. Like, I don't live in California. What does that have to do with me? Like, so I rewired my relationship to what I believe success is. And that's more like, yeah, I get to make, I don't know, 10, 20K a month and help my mom out and eventually buy her home and a car. And success really looks like being able to have so much time that I'm delegating things to like other people in my business. Like that's something so much more relatable, I guess, to me. That's a future version of me. I already know that that's for sure happening, and it's not happening right now, but I know that that's going to be me in the future. So rewiring your relationship to success and what that actually means. And then also every day for my evening routine, I'm writing down like why I was successful that day. And maybe I'm not buying my mom a house and a car at this point. I did an amazing morning routine. Like I connected with my wife and we had like so much fun today. Like those are also like things that make you successful.
I love that. I love that. I was envisioning like, buying our family, like buying both of our moms new homes, like their dream cars, and like investing in other young people who are where we are right now. And I think it's really important too, like you were saying, like I think you said this earlier in the episode, but just being like present and content with where you're at right now, and knowing that like the more that you show up, you keep showing up, like success is inevitable. If you keep going, whatever you are setting out to do in your life, like success is coming to you as long as you don't quit.
Boom, mic drop.
Mic drop. With that being said, thank you all so much for being here, for being queer or not.
We love you anyways.
And we are so happy you're here. Find us, reach out, and we love you.